neck. We've seen it from the other side. Now we've seen it from the back side. As I said, we are in this first impact ring of the crater. We moved out of the granites. We moved now into the quartzites. So quartzites we will get mostly in these mountains around us in this first impact ring. And as we go to Venterskroon, in these quartzites, in these mountains, we also get gold-bearing conglomerates. So the gold-bearing conglomerates are on surface level. These gold-bearing conglomerates in their composition, they've got small dust of gold.
That's it.
That's the fish eagle.
That's the fish eagle.
Full of Africa.
That's nice, huh? Can you hear it?
That's okay.
So maybe if we're lucky, we might see it also. No?
That is the full of Africa.
Yes, but that's something nice, no? The fish eagle. So while we have a look out here, just maybe keep an eye open, you might see it, no? The fish eagle. Okay, what I wanted to tell you, in this gold-bearing conglomerates, there are fine particles of dust caught up. And as I said there, they are on surface level, so they make tunnels to mine for this gold. And we will go closer to Venterskroon. We will stop at Venterskroon, which was a small village or small town that was established due to the gold in 1889. So, but what I wanted to show you here is we talked about the Vaal River. Now we can see the Vaal River, it's nice and clear. We can see at this area here, it's very slow moving and deep. At certain areas, if you go further down, it's very fast moving and rapids. And that's what the guys like when they do canoeing. These fast moving rapids, this whitewater rapids, they like it. This is one of the big attractions also in the Vredefort Dome for tourism, is this whitewater rafting. So, and as we were coming from Komando Nek, we were coming here, you have also seen there's a lot of game fences next to the site. You even passed Kudus Laagte, you've seen those two kudus that were on the, that's what the one question was, no, those two kudus that were at the entrance gate. So a lot of landowners also are going into tourism by making hiking trails. These ones have got mountain bike trails going through the mountains, camping sites, combining the hiking trails with chalets on the property so that they can get tourists to the site. Having game and having game drives in the site, which attracts tourists to the site also. And then some of them have got bigger camps. They have also got the possibility of hunting. But if we look at the Vaal River itself, we talked about the White River. There's again. Talked about the White River rafting. Also, it's very popular for angling. They come like an angler. There are some resorts that are catering for anglers, especially for those ones. Also for the yellowfish. The yellowfish, they like these rapids, but the yellowfish is, according to legislation, is protected fish species. So if they catch them, they need to release them back again. So they are protected by legislation. So catch and release with the yellowfish is what we also ask the landowners to enforce. That anglers that are angling on their property, they need to enforce catch and release. Then I wanted to show you also these trees in between in the river. It looks like they are growing in the river. Yeah. There are a lot of islands in the river, big ones, as big as 80 hectares, as 50 hectares. In the area of Paris, on these big islands, they've got golf estates. So big are these islands. Some of the islands we've passed, I don't know if you've noticed on your right hand side, as we came around the corner, there was a place called Donkervliet. Yeah. Donkervliet belongs to the Department of Sports, Arts and Culture. And part of Donkervliet is also an island in the river, which is called the Graaf Island. That also belongs to the Department of Sports, Arts and Culture. And they do group camps there, and they do veldskole there at the with kids. And in our department, we've got environmental education officers that are using facilities like that to bring in school kids, to teach school kids. So there are some properties in the site itself also which belong to government. Okay, but what I wanted to show you, there are a lot of alien and invasive species in the site also. And we use locals with EPWP projects to combat and control alien invasive species in the site. All right? We're not working in the river because it's too risky to work in the river. So we go into the streams in the mountains where these trees are, because these trees are like sponges. They take up a lot of water. And if we cut down those trees, that stream starts to flow again in the summer. Otherwise, these trees, when all along the stream, they suck up that water. That stream doesn't flow in the summertime. So for the locals then, and we then employ local people for those projects. And then for at least that period of time of the project, they can get some income. Okay. Then what I also wanted to show you about the Vaal River. If you proclaim or want to proclaim a site as a World Heritage Site, there's a nomination dossier that needs to be compiled, and a nomination dossier that needs to be presented to show the importance of the site. Why is it so important that we want to have it as a World Heritage Site? And it says it's about the outstanding universal value. Outstanding universal value, what is it makes it important for the world that we need to protect this? And the outstanding universal value for the Vredefort Dome is the biggest, oldest meteorite impact crater in the world, the most eroded one also. Then I want to know in this nomination dossier, what supports this outstanding universal value? Because we said this is the biggest meteorite impact crater. So what are the attributes to this outstanding universal value? And the attributes are, we see the impact rings, we see them, this is one of them. We see this mountainous area, this nice landscape that the meteorite has formed. We see it, that is one of them. We see the Vaal River, which was also a river that cuts through this meteorite impact crater. This is the only meteorite impact crater that's got a river that divides it into two. And the fourth one is the evidence that we see is on surface level. Now we see it in the rocks now. So then the question is, how do we protect it? With the Vaal River, we know there's a lot of pollution also in the river. Pollution from upstream, which affects the site itself. So we've got a project running now with the National Department of Water and Sanitation, and with the Netherlands, the Department of Water, the Netherlands Water Authority, and we've got a Blue Deal project, which is now for 10 years in the site, that we try to get the water quality a little bit upgraded in the site, and also try to assist the Ngwati municipality to get the wastewater treatment works, which is on our doorstep, to get it up and running at a standard which it needs to be. So we've got that project running. And what you can also see in this area, there's a lot of mountains. So one of the threats to the site, or the threat to the outstanding universal value, is fire. So, and you can imagine fighting fire in this area is not easy. You can come to the fire at certain areas, but sometimes if the fire is too big, it's out of control. Then we need to get support. And we've got also, they call them working on fire teams, and those teams are then also drawn into the site if we need it, working on fire teams. These guys are also mostly taken out of the towns nearby. They are trained, and they are used then for working on fire. Okay, so that's what I wanted to show you, the threats to the site, the fire, the pollution, and what we've seen also or talked about, Kobus talked about it, the vandalism. We've got these nice geological outcrops and these nice rock formations and rock engravings, but then we get graffiti that's been drawn over them. Now all people that come that break off a part of this nice unique geological outcrop and take it with as a sample, especially the scientists. So one of the other threats to this geological outcrops that we've got is vandalism. Okay, so that's what I wanted to show you. You can see also the land use in the site. There is not much crops. the landowners here, they do farming with cattle, with sheep, with goats. You've seen most of on the road there, most of them, they also go into game farming. Crops is not worthwhile because it's too dry. And we've got baboons and vervet monkeys that are roaming through the area, so they help themselves. Now, if you've got a nice crop there, and they come through and they take it, like if you go to McDonald's or so, no, it's like a takeaway. No? So it's not worth it. There are too many factors that work against you. No? So they rather go into keeping cattle and sheep and goats and things like that. No? All right. And that is about that I wanted to tell you at this viewpoint. No? This is also very unique because you can see the whole Witwatersrand supergroup. We are inside the Witwatersrand supergroup. No? This is what you can see here. No? All right. In the Skroon Road, you will get a signboard that says, all right, this is part of a conservancy. No? This is part of the Vredefort Dome Conservancy. But tourists, they can drive through the site themselves. We're going to our information center at Center Skroon. There they can stop and they get information. Today it will be closed because they are busy renovating and upgrading. Tabela Tabeng, they've also got their own small information center. So tourists can get some information at the information centers, but it will be good if they can drive with someone as a tour guide, which can give them more information regarding the geology, history and the natural beauty on the site. Otherwise they just experience a nice natural beauty and then don't get much information. What we're planning to do, and we want to do it with the National Department of Tourism, is to have information signage next to the roads. We talk about a scenic route, and this is part of the scenic route which goes along the Vaal River, the scenic route. And the scenic route is mostly a gravel road which goes at both sides, northwest and Free State side. The scenic route goes. So what we want to do is we want to put information signage all along the scenic route, so that the tourists that are going through the site at least can stop at the point and get some information about what's happening in the site. So if he hasn't got a tour guide, then at least he can get some information without just getting information at the information center. Alright, so that is also what we want to do. And then at the entrance roads, the big entrance roads like these ones, we want to put also entrance booms, so that people, tourists that are coming into the site, at least they can stop at the boom, get some information at the boom, brochures and stuff like that. Also get a plastic bag if they've got something to litter to throw away, that they put it in the plastic bag. At the next exit, they can just drop the plastic bag there, and they put it into recycling or what it might be. So that is also plans for the future. There's another interpretation center at Vredefort. That interpretation center needs to be upgraded because the structure is not very suitable for usage at this stage. So the National Department of Tourism, they're going to upgrade the structure, and at least as soon as the structure is ready, the Wits University, they've got the exhibition material, then it will be into that structure there. So that will be then the gateway into the Vredefort Town through that interpretation center. So that is about the tourism. There was one where we talked about the tour guides. Tour guides in the department, in the site itself, they need to be registered because it's a World Heritage site. We would like to have registered tour guides in the site. We don't want to have fly-by-nights, which bring in groups, do the activities and go out. And that is part of the department's, just watch out for the, seems like there's a car coming. Part of the department's function is also to regulate the tour guides. So what tourism section and the tour guide section, we regulate the tour guides. Go out at the lodges, get tour guides there, see if they are registered. Now, if they take out groups, at least he needs to have a badge. If he hasn't got a badge, then he needs to have an appointment card. So at least, there was periods of time when we did some training. When we get them, then we told them, listen, this is a process to follow to be registered as a tour guide within this province. Okay. So registered tour guides, we would like to also have them in the site and operating in the site itself. Now, we've got a Vredefort Tourism Association, and we've got a Vredefort Tour Guide Association, which are also assisting with tourism in the site itself. In the site. So what I wanted to show you then also, we talked about the olive tree. Showed these guys with us in the vehicle. The olive trees, they've got multiple stems from the bottom, and they've got these nice big green and white. You will see the leaves on top more greenish, and then at the bottom more white. You can see them from a distance. There's nice color variation in the leaves. They've got very small fruits. There's the berries. They don't bear these big olives because those are the cultivated ones. So you've got the nice berries. The birds like them, and the game also like the leaves of the trees. Now, the wood is very strong wood, good for posts on the fences and to make tools to work with. Now, then what I want to show you also, if you look in the mountains here, now we start to get into the gold-bearing conglomerates in the quartzite. If you look right straight up here, you will see more or less from the top of the mountain a little bit downwards, it looks like a mine dump. Can you see that mine dump there? Okay, that's an indication that there is a mine tunnel. No? Have you seen it? If you go up to the mountain on top,
there's a gravel patch.
You see the gravel patch there?
Gravel patch. Yeah. If you go from top downwards and halfway about downwards, you will get this gravel patch. That's an indication that there's a mine tunnel. Okay. So, and you will see now these mine tunnels, they went into the mountains. Some of them go through the mountains on the other side, others just go into the mountains. Yeah. So, and this is where the gold-bearing conglomerates are. If we go now further to Venterskroon, past Venterskroon we get Roderand. And at Roderand we've got this nice Amazon reef, which was a good gold-bearing reef, the Amazon reef, which is also on surface level. But as I told you, with the impact, it overturned the strata also. So they were mining the wrong side of the reef, and the quality was not good, the gold quality. So they could not make a living out of the gold that they took out in the Vredefort Dome. And at the end of the day, they moved away to the Witwatersrand, to Johannesburg, where there was much better and more gold and of better quality. So the gold rush that we had in the Vredefort Dome started in about 1888. During the Anglo-Boer War, 1899 to 1903, it stopped, and then it continued till about the 1930s. But the total amount of gold that they took out was about 123 kilograms of gold. So it was not worth it. It was not worth it. They could not make a living out of it, so they moved away towards Johannesburg and the Witwatersrand. So, but we haven't got the opportunity to go to the tunnels, but we can see them. In this area in the mountains, this is where they were mining for gold. And when we go now to Venterskroon, we will see the office of the mine commissioner, because the mine commissioner, he was regulating all the miners and giving them the title deeds to the claims and things like that. We will have a look at that. Then that is dating back to the gold rush at the end of the 1800s. But we've also got history in the site dating back to the Second World War. And the Second World War was 1939 till 1945. And during the Second World War, there were a lot of Italians captured in Northern Africa. And they were taken to concentration camps. There's one big concentration camp at Zonderwater, they call it Zonderwater. It's at Kalini. But there were so many of them, they had to post them out into the country. And these Italians, they were used as laborers. They built highways, they built mountain passes. And some of them were also in the Vredefort Dome, and they built structures. They built houses, they built bridges, and they built those stables there. Like those ones, that was the type of structures that they built also in the Vredefort Dome, these Italians. After the war, most of them stayed behind because they were treated well. They stayed behind, they got their own properties, they started farming. Some of them got involved with the granite mining, They married with the owners' daughters and things like that. They were happy here, so they stayed here. But those are one of the examples of the Italians, of the infrastructure that they built in the site. So out of the Second World War, we also got that type of history in the site itself. All right, that is what I wanted to show you in this area. I talked about the tourism. We're going into the small town of Venterskroon. Venterskroon was also one of the little towns that was established due to the gold mining. And after everybody moved out, it just stopped growing. We will see what is left of Venterskroon, but we will talk about it when we are there. Right. In 1888, alright, can we continue? Alright, in 1888, this area is what they call Roderand. And in Roderand, they have discovered these gold-bearing conglomerates. They have discovered that there is gold in this area. And everybody was rushing. That time it was not called the Vredefort Town. It was called the Roderand. Everybody was rushing here because here's gold. And there was a need for someone to control these miners that were coming here and assist them with claims and things like that. So the government at that time, they bought, out of Roderand, they bought portion 1. To establish the first building. This was the building, that was the office of the mine commissioner. And you will see the date on the building says 1889. So the mine commissioner, this was his office. He had to regulate the miners and issue them with the claims and things like that. And that house where that lady is sitting, that was his house, the mine commissioner's house. And then they also built the cells together with the mine commissioner's office to keep some of the miners that were out of control, to keep them under control a little bit now. Okay, so there were a lot of mining activities going on, not so much in this area, but if we go further, we've seen now at Tabela, in that area, in those mountains here, and in these mountains in Roderand, this area was called the Roderand Gold Fields, or after the town was established, Venterskroon, or started, it was called also the Venterskroon Gold Fields. And the reef that was in this area was the Amazon Reef, which was a very good reef, gold reef. We know the quality was poor, but it was a good gold reef to mine, the Amazon Reef. So, and then slowly but surely, this little town of Venterskroon started. They started the hotel. Next to the information center is a hotel, and further down the road is a general dealer, or what they call the handelshuis. So where they were trading products. The miners that were mining in this area, they were mostly staying at their claims. Over weekends they were coming into the area here, coming to town. So, and there was a little bit of houses that was established. There were some roads in this area. So it was a town that was a little bit growing due to the gold that they found in the area. But before Venterskroon could really establish itself, they've seen, but hey, this gold is not worth it. No, we cannot make a living out of this gold. It's not good quality, and in this whole period of time, as I said, they only took about 123 kilograms of gold. So they moved out. And before Venterskroon could really establish, everybody moved out to Johannesburg, where there's much bigger gold fields and much richer and better gold. So the mine commissioner had also to move out because he didn't have any work here anymore. And then they used this building as a school. And they had a schoolmaster's house for the schoolmaster. When all the kids went through school and there were no kids there that can go to school anymore, the schoolmaster also had to go. Then they used it as a police station. And then the cells also came in handy. A police station and a judge and a magistrate's office. But at the end of the day, in the late 1990s, the police station moved from here towards Buffelshoek, where it is presently. So it moved from here to Buffelshoek. And in 2005, when the site was listed as a World Heritage Site, in July 2005, in 2006 we started our office at the back, and then we used this office then as an information center, which is now also being used today as an information center. All right. Now, these houses here, they belong to the landlord. We also rent from the landlord. And the landlord, they are in the process of upgrading. You will see also like that little house there. And those cells there, they are busy upgrading Venterskroon now. So that is why the information center is closed. They're working on the outside. As soon as they finish with the outside, we will upgrade a little bit on the inside, the exhibition. What I just want to show you, we've got on the right hand side is our exhibition room. You go in there, you get examples of the rocks that you get in the site itself. There are a lot of posters of information about meteorite impact sites, about meteorites, about the Anglo-Boer War, about the trees that you get in the site, the birds that you get in the site, the animals that you get in the site. Those are information brochures that are posters that are in there. There are information brochures there. And on the left side, this door here is our little room where we show a little bit of an auditorium where we show a DVD about the Vredefort. A DVD that was made for us by the Northwest University, which is an introduction DVD, which tells in 17 minutes time what is the Vredefort Dome about, why is it meteorite impact crater, and the tourists, that is a place where they come and get an information here at the Venterskroon Information Center.
If you want to, I can show you that DVD tonight. Just a very short one, but it's very informative and
Yeah.
beautifully made. I can
Okay.
show you that as well.
Yeah. So up till this stage it's closed up until it's been finalized and finally renovated, and then we will open it again. Right? So in our information center we also got a tourist register. So tourists that are coming through the site, we would like them to register in that book, so that at least we've got some information about how many tourists are visiting the site, which ones are they locally or are they international tourists, because at the end of the month when we do our reporting, we need to report on how many tourists went through the site, well, how many were local, how many were international, and that's what we get from that visitors book that we've got there. All right.
Maybe this is a good spot to do a quick group photograph. Because
Yeah.
Gustav said, yeah, you'd like to have a photograph. But before we do that, Mr. what tree is this? I've never seen it.
It's a baobab.
Is it a baobab?
It looks like a baobab, but it's an exotic one.
Yes. Never seen anything like that.
It's also like a sponge. In these stems are not wood. They are like cork.
Oh,
They cork. They take a lot of water. They've got a lot of water. That's why in dry periods it can go through dry periods. But it's an exotic one. The fruit, if you look at the berries that it carries, it looks like grapes. So the Afrikaans name is Willedryf or the Bobbejaan-dryf. It looks like grapes, but it's an exotic one, which in the site itself, in the northwest side, there are only about 3 of them. But in other countries, they are declared because they are like blue gums. They suck up a lot of water, keep a lot of water.
This is unique.
Yeah.
Gaan ons hier
Yes. Can we maybe just in front of the information center? Is it?
No, it's just a small little town. But it was a beautiful town.
But I'm going to there was a prison there. Because from here, sometimes they get out of their orbit and they come to